What is going on, guys? Kenny here from 619 Guitars and Gear, and today, yes, we are checking out another Ibanez, and it is the RG421MSP in turquoise sparkle. So without wasting any time, let's get into it. Alright, well, welcome back to another review video. I know you guys are probably like, dude, really another Ibanez? And to be honest with you, I'm kind of like that too. I don't know what's going on. I literally grew up not liking Ibanez guitars for some reason. I don't know if it was because like everyone and their mother had one, and I always strayed away from everything that everyone else had. But I just never really got into them, and now I have a bunch of them. I think I have more Ibanez guitars than any other brand, which is just really, really weird to me. But anyway, kind of been eyeing this thing up for the past month or so at my local shop. It's been sitting there for a while. I remember seeing it for a while now, and early last week I went in there and finally had some time to take it down and play it. I didn't even plug it in, honestly. I just sat down on the bench, grabbed a pick, and just started fiddling around with it and fell in love with it. And it doesn't even have anything crazy spec-wise. It's just the overall feel of the guitar felt great. I'm sure it has something to do with the Wizard 3 neck. I know that's like a neck more pointed towards people that can shred, which is not me at all, but it's just really comfortable. I can't even really pinpoint one particular thing that I love, but it was just, you know, as an overall really, really fun and comfortable to play. So I ended up grabbing it. There was a few issues with it, so I did talk them down in price and got a really good deal on it. They claim for it to be brand new, but I mean, who knows really? It doesn't have any marks or nicks or anything on it, so it could be brand new. It had all the tags on it still, so I mean, I want to say it's brand new, but who really knows in the end? But we'll talk about the issues later on. Let's go ahead and jump into the specs here. So for the body, you have a solid poplar body wood. You have what they call a turquoise sparkle paint job. And I mean, when they say sparkle, it's sparkly, man. The depth in the sparkle is wild. You can tell it's just laid on there really, really thick. And there's probably a lot of clear coat on this thing, but it's really shiny. It looks good. They also make it in pink, which I will put up here. I kind of wish they had the pink one, to be honest. I really like the pink one. They're both really, really cool. You have like a mother of pearl binding going around the body, which is kind of like a cream color. I don't know if it just faded over time or is that just how it came. I'm not really sure. You have a bolt-on maple neck, which, like I said, is the Wizard 3 neck. Very, very comfortable to play. 25.5-inch scale, maple fretboard. The radius of the fretboard is 400 millimeters or 15.75 inches, which is basically a 16-inch radius. 24 jumbo nickel frets. Dual action truss rod with the, you know, signature Ibanez flip open truss rod cover. All other brands need to get onto this because it's one of my favorite things. I always have to take mine off because I'm constantly making adjustments, and it's just very convenient. That's kind of always why I love the spoke wheel style adjuster up here, you know, towards the neck pickup, because it's just easier. You have black inlay dots, black side dots. Only thing that really kind of is a bummer is you have a plastic nut. I wish it was a graphite nut, but that's always something I can change later on. For the hardware, you have what they call Cosmo black hardware. So it's like a black chrome. You have like a self-branded Godo style tuner. Nothing fancy, but they function well. It probably could benefit from locking tuners, so maybe I will upgrade them later on. You have the typical Ibanez F106 fixed bridge. You know, the Cosmo Black is kind of really cool. What's cool is you have metal Cosmo Black pickup rings, so it just matches the hardware. Usually they're like black plastic or cream or white or something like that, and I just think it's kind of different, so I like that. One volume, one tone, 5-way switch. And the Ibanez Quantum pickups, I could have sworn they got rid of these pickups in like the early 2000s. But like I said, I'm new to Ibanez, so I could have read wrong. Maybe they came out later on again. But they sound pretty good, and I love that they're white. I think it just kind of splits everything up color-wise, and just looks really good in my opinion. So let's get into some neck measurements real quick before we lay this thing on the bench. Like I said, 25.5 inch scale, or 648 millimeters. 43 millimeters width-wise at the nut. You're at 58 millimeters at the 24th fret. You're at 19 millimeters thickness-wise at the 1st fret, and 21 millimeters thickness-wise at the 12th fret, and then 400 millimeter radius, or 15.75 or 16-inch radius, whatever you want to call it. I bet you if you put a 16-inch radius gauge on there, it'll be perfect. So we'll call it 16. But the RG421MSP TSP, which probably stands for Metallic Sparkle Turquoise Sparkle. I'm just guessing. It's probably not really stands for, but maybe. Let's go ahead and throw this thing on the bench. I want to open up the back cavity cover, see what's going on in there, take some measurements. This thing is actually set up really well. I'm guessing the shop probably did that and not Ibanez. But we'll measure it out anyway because it plays really good, so it might help you guys out to learn, so you can set yours up the same way and get the same result, because I was having a ball playing this thing, I'll be honest. Let's go ahead and put it on the bench. All right, so we got the pickups plugged into the meter. I'm going to start at the bridge pickup, and honestly, this number is pretty surprising. At the bridge pickup for resistance, we're at 8.23K. I know you're supposed to do, you know, inductance and everything. I can't figure out exactly how to do it on this meter. It's really old. I'm not even sure if you can do it, but so we're just going to do resistance today. Honestly, I'm surprised by that number. I thought it'd be a little bit hotter than that. And we're at 7.27 on the neck pickup. So pretty surprising. When I did look these pickups up, I know like the older Ibanez Quantum pickups, I think they were a little bit hotter. They were like 15, around 15 or 16K. So honestly, I thought my meter was broken, and I plugged it into my other guitars that I know what it should be, and yeah, it's working just fine. So kind of surprising, but I guess it is what it is. All right, so we got the back cavity cover off, and I mean, everything looks kind of normal. 2 miniature 500K pots, regular 5-way Ibanez switch with the circuit board on it. One thing I'm noticing is the soldering just does not look that good. I mean, they claim this guitar was brand new, but it almost looks like someone was in here, because there's like a wire that was clipped off right here. I gotta tighten up these pots, that's for sure. There's a burn mark in the wire. Kind of weird. Like I said, they claim it was brand new, but even like right here, I might go through this and then touch up the soldering, because it's not looking too great. So yeah, not really sure what that's all about. Like I said, they claim this thing's brand new, but I could have been fooled. Shielding paint looks all right. I'm noticing where this is not buffed in the cavity. You can really tell how thick this clear coat had to be to get it to level out correctly with the metal flake on there. It's just, you can just tell it's really thick. But I mean, that's pretty normal when you have really coarse metal flake. But yeah, kind of questioning if this thing's really brand new or not, because this definitely looks like someone's been in here. All right, so real quick, we'll take some measurements. We'll start with the straightness of the neck. Now, disclaimer, I do not know if this setup is from Ibanez or the shop that I got it from, but it was set up pretty dang good. Nice, you know, decently low action. The neck seems pretty straight. So, yeah, let's go ahead and check it. So, as far as neck straightness, looks like we have the tiniest bit of relief in there. Let's go ahead and check the action. Now, I know some people do it with a capo on. When you have the capo on, it kind of eliminates, you know, the nut out of the equation. Music Nomad says that you should do it with a capo on. I've seen people do it without, so it kind of, I guess, is one of those things where you have to do what you like better. But with the capo on in millimeters, on the low E, we are at about just above 1.25, so I'd say almost, you know, almost 1.3, and it's pretty consistent all the way through. It drops down to about 1.25. And let's take capo off. We'll do it without capo now. So without capo, yeah, big difference. So low E is at 1.75, and then it starts to drop down to about 1.50 as you go down. I'd say it starts at 1.75 and then ends pretty much at 1.25. So I will probably adjust that because, I mean, it plays really good right now, so I almost don't want to touch it, but I might be able to get it a little bit better. So not too bad, but like I said, don't know if this is from Ibanez or from the shop that I got it from. All right, real quick, we're going to do a little sound demo starting with high gain. We're going to start on the bridge pickup first, and then today for a setup, I am using the Solar Chug pedal plugged directly into the interface, and then I'm running the Get Good Drums Cali oversized cab emulator plugin, and it sounds pretty good if you ask me. So before we wrap this video on up, I just wanted to take a couple minutes to talk about some things with this guitar. Now, I had mentioned I was able to get a good deal on it because I had a few issues. One of them being it had a good amount of fret sprout. Now, I'm not really sure if it's just from sitting at the store. I noticed it was hanging pretty close to a door. And, with the door opening and closing and temperatures always changing and, cold air rushing in or hot air rushing in. I've only seen this there since, it's been cold out. So I'm not really sure if it's just, temperatures always changing and they don't really keep it a consistent humidity level in there. So I'm not really sure, but I've noticed there was a few other reviews where people were complaining about the same thing. So if you have this model and you have fret sprout, let me know. I was able to take care of it, but for people that don't have the tools or skill to do so, it could be pretty annoying because it was pretty bad, to be honest with you. But it's all good now. We got that taken care of. Another thing I noticed that is absolutely driving me crazy, there is some kind of harmonic ringing coming from this guitar, and I cannot find where it's coming from. I put a fret wrap on it because I figured maybe it was coming from up here at the headstock, which is pretty typical. Like my Solar 7-string does that, and even my Solar 6-strings do that. Sometimes just with the angle and everything and the tension, you get some kind of harmonic ringing sometimes. But that's not where it was coming from. So then I took a piece of foam and put it under the saddles up against where the strings come through the body, and it was still ringing. So then I got to thinking, it does have metal pickup rings and there's springs underneath it to adjust the pickup height. I wondered if, the metal against metal is causing some kind of ringing from the vibrations. So I ended up taking the springs out and I put pieces of rubber hose in there, which does the same thing. And it's still doing it. So then I started messing with the truss rod and it's still no luck. So there's some kind of ringing coming from this guitar and I cannot figure out where it's coming from. It does seem like the things I did to it kind of helped a little bit. You can't really hear it in the recording, but when you're playing it, you can definitely hear it. So I'm not really sure, but it's not something that would make me, not like the guitar. The pickups are okay. I definitely prefer them for high gain. As far as cleans, I feel like when you get into your second, third, and fourth pickup position, things start to get a little weird. Now, they're not a hot pickup to begin with, but you definitely have a huge signal drop off, which is pretty common because you're like splitting coils and stuff, but they got really muddy also. So it was like a mixture of like a muddiness mixed with like a really twangy sound. And some people might like that depending on what type of music you're playing and what kind of sound you're going for. But I just don't really care for these pickups as far as, cleans. But I mean, I rarely play cleans anyway. I'm usually always playing in high gain. So it doesn't really make a difference. But I'm sure it could benefit from a set of pickups in the future. But honestly, this is a great mod platform for $399. It's definitely a decent guitar. Now, what's really funny is I paid $299 for my GRG421MSP, and that's so much better of a guitar than this. But I mean, yeah, they're different models, but for $399, I still think this is a decent guitar. Even with the minor problems it's had. Now, I don't think it probably didn't come from Ibanez with the, the fret sprout issues. It's probably from sitting around and stuff like that. But then again, in those reviews I watched, it seems like those people unboxed the guitar and had the fret sprout right off the bat. So I'm not really sure. I can't say, being that it wasn't boxed up when I bought it. The store did claim it was brand new, but there are some things that make me question that, like the wiring in the back. I've seen Ibanez's soldering work a lot, and this does not seem like it's, the soldering work of Ibanez. It just seems kind of, it almost seems like someone's been in there. So I'm not really sure. I probably should, question them a little bit harder. But in the end, this thing is still in great condition. As far as QC, nothing else really stands out. The finish is great. The neck feels great, nice and smooth. The nut is cut well, even though it is plastic. The hardware I really like. I like the Cosmo Black hardware. But I'm sure it could benefit from, some new electronics, some new pickups, some locking tuners. So just another great mod platform. I think these lower end Ibanez's are great for that. But honestly, I really enjoyed the last couple weeks playing this guitar, and I really feel like I'm going to keep this one around and do some modding work to it. And yeah, it's going to be a great guitar. It's a great guitar now, and I think it's going to get even better. I did start modding my GRG421MSP, and that thing is starting to become really, really good. I put some pickups in it and stuff like that, which I'll probably make a video about later on. But, you know, with the work I did on the fretboard and the frets and everything like that, it just really brought that guitar to life. And honestly, it plays just as good as, you know, my higher end Ibanez's that what I have. So it's really weird that I grew up hating Ibanez and now I have a bunch of them and I love them. So I don't know what that's all about, but I don't know, maybe I'm getting old or something. I'm not really sure, but really good guitar for the price. I recommend you checking one out. If you are interested in it, definitely pull the trigger and see for yourself, because I think you'll be very happy. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I really appreciate you watching. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Hopefully I earned your subscription, and definitely hit the notification bell so you don't miss another video. Going to try to keep cranking videos out as much as I can. And yeah, so as always, thanks for watching. Stay safe, be a good person, pick up your guitar and play it. And we'll see you in the next video.